Pickaxe.
Hello and welcome back to the Review of Death, your fortnightly home for Doctor Who news and reviews. And I am Matthew Toffolo. That is Billy Garrett John.
It is. You can see there's a sense of relief on our face when the intro happens because Matt's actually got it right this time.
And yeah, we're here to talk about Doctor Who, like we do all the time.
Absolutely. There's nothing else worth talking about
Nothing else.
at the moment.
Share this with your friends, like it, share it, comment, stick it up your bum, whatever you need to do with it.
That's going a bit far.
Get it around.
Further pushes the narrative that there's something going on between us, I think.
Because I told them to stick this podcast up their bottom.
Well, it's on your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well. Do you know, I heard a funny story the other day that apparently the thing that is most extracted from men's rectums
What a way to start.
is light bulbs. Who the fuck is putting light bulbs up their ass?
I heard a great story once, I'm sure it's an urban legend and everyone's heard about it, about the guy who came back from home. He went to the hospital, he had something up his bum, and he came home from doing a shop, he said.
Right.
And he'd forgotten his keys and realised the only way he could get into his house by climbing up the drain pipe.
Right.
And he'd climbed up the drain pipe and slid down it and had ended up with a bottle of Heinz up his arse. And the doctor said this would be somewhat believable if Heinz sold their ketchup with condoms already on them.
No. Well, my granddad was an ambulance driver, and he went to a house, a call, and this guy was there with a chair leg stuck up his backside, and he said he'd slipped.
What a start!
Yeah, I think
this is not always like this.
Well.
Great, well, I'm sure he was.
Yeah.
Well, he couldn't put his trousers back on again, could he? Let's get all at the back. Anyway, here we go. We're going to talk about some news. Let's start, because I don't think we can start with one topic in particular.
Yeah.
After all that, Eagle Moss. You can see we've got a new pal here. We've put the call out on Twitter to ask, can we have a name for our new pal, Agador? And very odd, considering the last episode you got me a present and it was the 8th Doctor console. Obviously, dreadful for everyone who was working there.
I'd just like to say that me buying you that console was not the reason why Eagle Moss folded.
No, it wasn't.
No, it's just purely a coincidence.
Purely a coincidence.
That the following morning after recording, they were like, we've gone to administration.
They've gone bust. Yeah, terrible. I mean, but they provided so many amazing things over the years for fans.
It really was incredible. The sheer breadth of variety of monsters and Daleks, and you know, I used to love the thing that they posted on their website for each Dalek, and you know, all the minutiae of the details of all these weird and wonderful props. Because you know, we're sad gits like that, and we like that stuff. Yeah, it's just really sad. I mean, I used to collect their DC stuff back in the day. I didn't really collect their Doctor Who stuff, but it is.
It's all those brands as well.
Yeah,
I mean, Star Trek people were quite upset
Star
about it
Trek,
as well.
They had DC, Marvel, Ghostbusters, all sorts. It was just
crazy. Well, thank you for all the hard work. We've got crazy things that we never thought we'd have as action figures or models, like Agador and Crotons and Zarbi and all sorts of stuff. So that's really cool, but sad to see it go. In modern Who news, we've had all the Disney Doctor Who stuff going on. Now, where did that start? What was all that about?
I don't know, it just sort of turned up on Twitter.
Was it a report that came out of some...
It was a reputable...
Like a Variety or Entertainment Weekly?
Yeah, it was a reputable source that was posting the story that Disney were interested in owning the streaming rights to Doctor Who moving forward.
Is that just in the US or?
I guess so. I think the article stressed that it would air in the UK.
Yeah.
And then stream on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't release all of them in one go on Disney.
No, I don't think.
I hope not anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like that. But I know that, you know, what do you think about this? What's your thoughts?
I think that, it's like any show from another country needs to find a streaming platform in another territory. It's no different to it appearing on Netflix, really. I think people are a bit panicky because it's Disney and Disney absorbs everything eventually. But they would have announced a partnership first.
Yes.
Before saying streaming was going to happen.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've only mentioned streaming doesn't mean that streaming is the only thing on the cards.
Yeah.
It could mean that there's American co-productions or stuff that happen in the future. But at the moment, I think, just cool.
Yeah, I think it's fine, because I saw some people were like, oh, that's it. The series whatever isn't going to be released on physical media.
No,
it's like, that does not mean that at all. But, I think it isn't a bad thing by any means. Someone posted the numbers. It was like, they've got like 80 million subscribers or something bonkers.
And Netflix's have started dropping.
Netflix is dropping, For me personally, because I'm a sad git, if I was going to keep one of the streaming services, it would have to be Disney Plus, because how else am I going to keep up with all the fucking shit that they've announced at San Diego Comic Con? All the homework that I have to do to know what these story arcs are. I don't enjoy it anymore.
No.
I just feel like someone's holding a gun to my head saying, you will watch fucking Agatha Harkness's bloody... Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts before the X-Men? What's going on? Come on, Kevin Feige.
I don't have a dog in this fight.
No.
I'm knackered and bored of it.
I was like seeing all the stuff in the morning after it had all been announced. I was just like, till 2025, there's just so much shit. And I what do you think about the idea of Russell being at San Diego Comic Con and doing one of those presentations and being like, oh, we've got
I think
Jackie Tyler investigates, and we've got
I'd love to see all of those things.
Yeah.
But
would you sit down and watch Jackie Tyler investigates?
Yeah, don't say you wouldn't.
No, I probably would.
There you go.
Would you watch, I don't know,
the Alpha Centauri files? Yes, I would. Yes. I think that for me, it's just it was a novelty and kitsch to see. Here's our next phase, and here's all the logos. Yeah. But now it's like, will any of these things come out? Yeah, I'm sure they will. Yeah. There's a lot of money behind them. I'm sure it's all scheduled and it's all. They can't be embarrassed by putting all these things up and then it just not happening. My first thought was, wow, they've got it all sorted out until 2025. I could be dead by then. That's true. The way everything is going in the world, we all could be. Yeah, there could be a bloody God knows what. It gives you a little bit of hope that people are thinking ahead of time. Well, that is maybe true, we'll still be around in 5 years. Maybe we will get Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. Yeah. So, but the Disney, the Avengers ones weren't on that list of phase things. The ones that I saw anyway. It ends with Thunderbolts or whatever. Yes. So that the Avengers films are in 2025. And that ends the whole multiverse arc. Yeah. Knackering. Yeah. I'll turn up for a Spidey. And they didn't announce him as Spidey. There was a cartoon, but that's lame. That's lame. Yeah, it's not a film. I need my Holland Zendaya stand sessions. There was a few slots not filled in 2025, so undoubtedly that will be a Spidey something. Yeah. Spidey meets 900 versions of himself. Yeah. We can only hope. There's a rumour that bloody Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be back in one of those Avengers films. Or get their own spin-offs. Yeah. That would be good. That would be good. I'd see a Spider-Man 4 and an Amazing Spider-Man 3. Yeah. That would be fun. That would be good. Rachel Talalay. Yes. And the 60th anniversary. Yeah. So apparently David Tennant and Catherine Tate have wrapped, you said? Apparently that's what people are saying. And they're still shooting. They're still shooting. So either it's... And it is episode 1 that Rachel Talalay is directing. Okay. Because that was on the clapper. But I saw before they've wrapped another one, haven't they? So have they done like 2 of the 3 now, or? I don't know. Because there was another thing that went round on some industry website, and someone had posted a thing about having worked on this production. Yeah. And it being 3 specials. And having done 6 weeks worth of night shoots, which we obviously have not seen. Mm-hmm. We've seen some of them, but not all of those. So I don't know what's going on. Well, it's exciting. It is exciting. And the fact that Russell keeps, his Instagram game up. So he posted a little celestial toy maker robot, didn't he? In his in his most recent thing. Cheeky bugger. Yeah. A few people were saying, all Cybermen. It's like the robot, isn't it? It's the toy robot. You not... Come on. What sort of fans are you? Come on, get out of it. Pathetic saddos. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the 60th continues apace, but you know, it's not like we've seen many bits of public filming now. But
no,
still bonkers to think it's all happening without our knowledge.
Yeah,
it's nice when that happens. It's like you feel when the public film is happening, it's so obnoxiously all over the place. You know, in the Doctor Who Twitterverse, there's always people posting photos from the set or whatever, and it's like, it's nice just to know it's happening, and we don't know. What laces David Tennant is wearing on his trainers.
Yes,
you know, it's nice that we don't always know that stuff.
Like today, Rachel posted that thing, and then Russell replied with, "And what a day!" You know, so obviously something big happened today. We assume. I don't know, but
Shooty's finished on Barbie now, I think.
Shooty's finished on Barbie. I think he's got Sex Education Series 4
filming in Bristol soon. They've got an open.
Yes, I keep seeing all the extra stuff. It's like, if I didn't work, I'd apply to be an extra.
I think me and Stel might do it for a laugh.
Yeah?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
She loves Sex Education, so.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It is a great series. Yeah, so if he starts filming in the autumn, and I was thinking this, if he starts filming in the autumn, if we assume that David Tennant is the Doctor for the 3 specials, so if we say, right, Christmas or New Year's Day, special number 1, spring, special number 2, and then November 23rd for the final special, then maybe Shooty's first episode, Christmas 2023, perhaps.
And then you have a new season at the start of the new year.
Yeah, or maybe in the spring.
Yeah, maybe.
But then that would mean by the time he's finished filming his first series, you know, he will have probably started filming his second series by the time his first series goes out. Yeah. Which would be really good, because has this all been planned so that...
I'm sure it's been meticulously planned by the greatest insider TV schedulers in the world.
Yeah.
There is, and I do not say this lightly, a metric shit ton of money behind this new Doctor Who. Yeah. It's kind of mental. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure they've got all of the best people possible organising and scheduling that stuff, and I'm sure that they have plotted the future of Doctor Who for the next 5 years. Yeah. And not in a Chris Chibnall way where it's 3 years and then suddenly it's 5 years.
It's 3 years and 2 of those he's sat in the bottom of his shed with his feet up.
You never know. You never know.
Can't be arsed.
A 5-year content pipeline, was it? Or 3-year content pipeline? Evergreen, down the shitter.
I was going to say it's a shit pipeline, whatever it was.
So yeah, that's something to look forward to.
But that'd be good, because then at least we will have a steady flow of Doctor Who, you know.
And Doctor Who Unleashed.
Doctor Who Unleashed,
became a bit more of a solid concept.
Yeah. Who was that? Twitter?
TV Zone.
Yeah, that's it.
That posted about that, which people have sort of known about for a little while.
Yeah, it's been murmured about,
but that's cool to know. I mean, whether it's like Doctor Who Confidential, or whether it's like a fusion with a title like Doctor Who Unleashed, I kind of imagine it's a fusion between totally Doctor Who and like the studio segments of Totally, with the interviews, and then maybe some like features from
here's some VT of when they blew up a Dalek, or when Beep the Meep came out of a taxi.
Exactly. Here's a 5-year history lesson, a 5-minute history lesson on all of these characters that have suddenly come back. Yeah. So yeah, that's exciting. The Abominable Snowmen. We've got some new screenshots from that, and we know there's a BFI screening in September. Yep.
So I guess DVD and Blu-ray will be out September, which is nice.
Which will be fabulous. I'm very much looking forward to it.
But it's sad though, isn't it? Bittersweet, because it's going to be the last one.
It will be the last one. I mean,
well, not unless Disney get this Disney money in.
Well, that's it. And
Pixar do Marco Polo.
I think that the fact we haven't heard anything about attempts to get it off the ground again, I don't think it's apathy, because I'm sure it makes more money than it costs to produce. And I mean, like, they are not the most technical animations in the world, and I'm sure they're produced in a way that they always make their money back to a certain extent. I can only imagine that when the show kicks off again, and we'll get to your questions later, but we're pretty much of the mindset that it's going to be fucking massive and massively popular again. Yeah. That maybe the interest in that pops up, because that sort of stuff, besides the invasion, just sort of wasn't happening during the boom period of Doctor Who in 2006, 7, 8. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm sure there's room for more of that in the future. I
mean, it might turn out that we just get animations that are like The Web of Fear Part 3.
Well, in that case, there's no point. But I really like the animation style for Snowmen.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's in the same vein as Fury. And I really like that one. So
yeah, the Yetis look suitably cuddly.
They do look suitably cuddly. There's nothing threatening about them in the slightest.
But I mean, you know, there was nothing threatening about the real ones.
I know. It's like, at least with the actual thing, you can have the nuance of shooting it in a particular way. But when you're basically animating a massive ball, a massive hairy ball, you know, it's difficult to make it. Oh, bless you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, because I guess you could go, oh, we'll add teeth to it or something to make it seem more menacing. But then you're going to get people being like, that's not a fucking Yeti. They never had teeth.
I think once you reach the point where, and I'm not saying this is a problem, but when you get stuff cut out of stories like the Macra Terror, it's like, so what? Yeah, that ceiling wasn't that high in that tiny studio in Lime Grove.
Oh yeah, because like Detson Monastery is going to look massive, I imagine, in animation compared to...
It's like, so what, you know?
True.
I'm sure the Dalek's eyes didn't contract as much as that on camera in Power.
We can only hope.
Whatever, you know, I know. Anyway, I'm just thinking about Rob Ritchie's amazing...
I know, me too. As soon as you said it, I was thinking,
and then finally, the very sad news today, that David Warner has passed away. David Warner, of course, appeared in Doctor Who in
Cold War,
and he was the Unbound Doctor for Big Finish, which I was a massive fan of.
Yeah, I'd never heard any of the Unbound stuff.
He's really good.
Yeah.
To the extent that I can't remember who... Is his name Paul Hanley? He does like a lot of really cool
Yes, he does. Yeah.
And he's done a lot of stuff of, you know, non-canonical Doctors.
Yeah.
And I really like one that he did of David Warner, so I actually used it as a cosplay and went and met David Warner at Cardiff Comic Con.
You met him?
I met, at Cardiff Comic Con. And there's a photo, I'll put it somewhere on Twitter, and he was like, wow, yeah, that's really cool artwork, I've never seen that before, and like he was like, oh, someone's come dressed as me, but it's not, you know, it's an audio drama.
Yeah, I mean, I was seeing a lot of nice stories that he seemed just like a very nice chap.
He did. He came across as a lovely guy.
And he was like he was in everything.
Everything.
He was literally in everything. He was like every Hollywood baddie, you know.
From Beyond the Grave, that's a great old 70s horror movie. I think 70s horror movie. He's in that.
All right. That's See, I know him from The Omen.
Yeah.
But obviously, I know he did quite a few Star Treks. Time Bandits, Titanic, he was in Batman the Animated Series. I posted that on Twitter, that he was Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
And very good he was too. Just very good.
Yeah. I mean, maybe there's some more of David in the banks, in the vaults at Big Finish.
Yeah.
That we get to hear.
Yeah, well, Christopher Eccleston has made a little remark that
what was that about?
So he said that for the 60th, that he has basically recorded a story with David Warner.
Okay.
Where he meets the Unbound Doctor.
Right.
Interesting.
That'd be very interesting.
Yeah. I love how he must have said, Chris, would you like to do a multi-Doctor story for the season? No, I only work on my own.
Yeah.
What about with a Doctor who isn't actually a Doctor, technically on television, but it is David Warner? Fucking hell, yeah,
I'm sure as soon as you heard David Warner, it was easy. Yeah, go on then, I'll do that. Yeah. But yeah, very sad news. Rest in peace, David Warner.
Yes.
So, today's episode is all about, well, it's not all about, we're going to talk about your questions in a bit, but we are going to discuss the lowest rated Series 4 story of Doctor Who. My God, I'm getting my seasons and series mixed up. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
The Doctor's Daughter. Because everybody's going potty over 2008 era Doctor Who with Tennant and Tate returning, we thought we'd have a look at the episode that DWM suggested was the lowest ranked Series 4 episode. And now that I think it's the centenary will mark 300 episodes of Doctor Who. Right. It means that we get another
time
update to the DWM poll.
Yeah. But you know the centenary episodes are all going to be at the top. Because it happened with thingy.
Of course I guarantee you it won't.
No?
I guarantee you it won't.
Do you think fandom is just too jaded now?
I think that Sylve and Colin are now going to have their day, and they now don't need to worry about having all their episodes at the bottom of lists anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think, and I'm not sure that this is right, but I think that a lot of Jodie episodes, and maybe a couple of Capaldi's, but majority Jodie, are going to end up at the bottom of that poll. And that's going to suck, because I'm sure there'll be ones down there that actually justifiably shouldn't be there in terms of quality, generally. Yeah. But it's a sneaking suspicion that I get.
Yeah, Praxis will probably be at the bottom.
Orphan 55.
Orphan 55. I don't think Orphan 55 is that bad.
The Battle of Ranskorav Kolos.
That's appalling. That is literally appalling.
That might be down there.
That will be down there.
I think Kablam will be up at the top.
Really? I don't like Kablam.
I know, but It's got like a monster that people kind of remembered from it.
Yeah, people just like that geezer, didn't they?
Yeah.
Kablam Man.
The Kablam Man. And
he was cool. He
was
did look
alright
good
in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God, yeah, he was in it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
God, I've forgotten all of this.
Do you not remember the compilation where they said, coming up later this year, don't worry about the episodes, but look at the celebrities that we've got. That was a bit mad, wasn't it?
Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, I know. It's
like kids are going to give a shit that fucking...
Well, there's that, but it's also this aversion that the show apparently had to promoting itself and the episodes that were coming up. It's like, well, no, show me what happens in the stories. Get me interested in the stories.
Show me some monsters.
Yeah.
There are no monsters.
Never mind. Let's get this out of the way. Number 1 in the UK in the charts at the time.
2008. I don't know. Arctic Monkeys. I don't
know. Propane Nightmares by Pendulum. Never heard of it.
Nope.
Never heard of it. But May 2008. Come on, comic book fan. Box office number 1 in the UK.
The Dark Knight. Or is it Iron Man?
Iron Man.
Oh, really? I thought Dark Knight came out in 2008.
It may have come out in 2008.
But not in May. So
I think
I had this conversation with Annie the other night. I think Iron Man came out first, then Batman came out.
There you go.
And eclipsed it.
Best-selling games of 2008. Can you guess the top 2?
Best-selling games of 2008. Jeez, a COD. I say that every episode.
Top 5, yeah. Call of Duty: World at War, yeah.
Oh, that is a good game.
That's a good game. They never got the gore to that level again with like blowing people's limbs off.
No.
That was always really satisfying.
Is that the one with the nuclear bomb at the beginning? It's a ghost town.
No, that's Modern Warfare.
That's the
first
one.
Oh, yeah. Mario Kart Wii.
Oh, God, I remember going to this. Oh, this is the thing. This is what is so nice about this era. Is like, I can remember going into Toys R Us. So my college, St. Brendan's, where we shot Doctor Who Plastic Treachery.
The best Doctor Who fan film ever made.
Quite.
Yeah. We should do a commentary of that.
We should do it. Maybe that's a Patreon video.
That's a Patreon video.
Oh, fuck, no. That means I have to watch it and it's going to be so cringy. No.
That'd be great.
Oh, God, you'd have to... Oh, it'd be like peeling my skin off.
Oh,
anyway. Yeah, so when we did that, Toys R Us was just down the road. And yeah, God, used to go down there, get Doctor Who figures, and I remember going down there and picking up Mario Kart Wii and spending all day playing it.
I could never buy stuff from Toys R Us. It was so overpriced. Wasn't it? Didn't they have a massive markup on games and stuff in there?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
Compared to like an Asda.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember when we bought I bought Mario Kart on opening day, the day it came out, because I just loved those games. And they had a special thing on where you bought it, and it obviously came with the wheel, but they also gave you an extra wheel, like a third-party one, so the shit plasticky ones.
Yeah. But you could actually race.
But you could actually race someone properly, yeah.
Another Wii game, second best-selling game of 2008.
Super Mario Galaxy.
No, Wii Fit.
Wow, that came out that year too. Damn.
I guess it.
I remember getting that on the day it came out as well.
Did you get the balance board with it as well?
Yeah.
There we go.
God, dear.
GTA 4.
Did that come out?
Yeah.
Right.
Cousin Roman. Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
Oh yeah, I remember my friend Alex. He bought Super Smash Brothers. I'm no good at fighting games.
Yeah. No, I'm not either. Button mashers.
I fucking hate button mashers.
Yeah.
I just.
Let's just get this out of the way, ignoring the optics of Georgia Tennant calling David Tennant Dad all the way through it.
Yeah.
The Doctor's daughter.
Yeah.
She
might call him Daddy.
I was trying not to go down that avenue. Well, I mean, I was letting it on. The Doctor's daughter was an episode I had completely forgotten everything about until it suddenly started, and I was like,
yes.
"Oh my God, yeah! What is going on? All these memories keep flooding back." There we go. Yeah.
It's. Right, I was having this conversation with Annie because she asked, like, what are we doing this week?
Yeah.
And I hate the term filler episode because I know people say, oh, that's a filler episode. And I don't think any TV production at any point goes, this will just be the filler episode. I think, that, especially on a drama like Doctor Who, where kind of every episode is a filler episode because they're all one-off episodes, 9 times out of 10. And this one kind of does feel like the filler episode where nothing really happens, it doesn't really go anywhere, and one of the main characters in the episode stays home at the end, and it just sort of feels like it is wrapped up in a neat bow, and we will never address any of the events of this story
ever again.
And
which was funny because I was reading the story notes on TARDIS Wiki about it, and Russell was saying in the lead-up that this story fundamentally changes the Doctor And there's like
really?
He turns a corner in this episode and he's never quite the same since. We want this to have repercussions for him sort of later down the line. And I thought it's just
a couple of kids there.
yeah, exactly, yeah. I just thought it's just a lot of him moping. Like, is this where he was always like brooding and they're all dead and all that kind of stuff before, but it really got on my tits in this episode. It was so annoying because, you know, I get the whole, she's not my daughter, don't call her my daughter, I've had kids in the past.
I'm not your mother.
I'm not your mother, yes I am. I get all of that, but after a while you think, are you a nice bloke? Like, you're just having a go at this girl.
For just existing.
For just existing. And the whole soldier thing as well.
I do love that line about, I share the same DNA as simian primates, but it doesn't make me a monkey's uncle.
I didn't notice that line.
Do you know, no, such a good line.
That's a good line.
It's a great line.
It's just I mean, Jenny, if she'd appeared again in the
she's still Jenny from the block.
She's still Jenny from the block. If she'd appeared later in the show, then it would have been like, well, it's an introductory setup episode for her.
Yes.
But the fact she never comes back.
Yeah, and it was Moffat, wasn't it, who wanted her to survive?
Yeah, unsurprisingly, Stephen Moffat got in contact with Russell T Davies and said, that character that died in that episode, you should bring them back and just to life at the end of the episode and just make the whole dramatic point of her dying and the 10th Doctor's reaction nearly pulling the trigger on a Bristolian General Cobb, very Bristolian.
Is he from Bristol?
Yeah, he's from Bristol.
Oh, I just thought he was some sort of West Country, not necessarily from Bristol.
He's just generic.
Well, I don't know.
Well, maybe. He's got a cherry red nose, drinks a lot of cider. You know. He apparently, I read on his Wikipedia, Nigel Terry is the actor. Nige. Good old Nige.
Nige, yeah, that sounds like Bristol.
He was the first baby born after World War II ended in Bristol.
Wow.
There's a fact for you there.
My God.
Very interesting.
There we go. Good old Nige.
Yeah. If she had never, you know, she doesn't come back in the show again.
Yeah.
So all this stuff with the 10th Doctor moping and, you know, he doesn't get a chance to redress that.
No.
Kind of, I was a bit shit to you, wasn't I, until the last second when you got shot.
Yeah.
And this whole thing about, you're a soldier, should always be a soldier. And then he goes on about how he's a soldier, and Jenny's like, we're the same.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, maybe we are a little bit, I'm eating humble pie. And then a scene later when she's got a gun out and she's defending them. She's defending them. So they can save this planet in this whole situation.
Yeah.
He has another go at her again. And Donna's like, you're a dick. Come on, she's your daughter. You know? So...
Yeah, but he's a dad. That's his.
Do all dads just turn into that at some point? I regret you existing. It's just like it's very filler.
Yeah,
I think the thing that hinders it massively is the fact that you've got Martha there. So what's going on there?
So this is the thing. Like, I like Martha Jones a lot.
Me too.
And it just feels like such a waste. It just feels like, we needed another character to sort out the Hath stuff. Let's just keep Martha along. And then she goes at the end.
Yeah, do you know what? Unless she hadn't have been with the Hath, you wouldn't have got their side of things.
No.
But she feels like she's not in the first draft of this story.
No, it does feel like she's just been plonked in it. She doesn't really do much. Well, she kills a Hath accidentally.
She does.
And I love that scene so much because she's there and you can see on her face, she is just a beat away from bursting out laughing.
Absolutely.
The whole thing. She's like, but you're like, she's gonna crack. She's gonna crack.
And the Hath very slowly sinking.
Yeah.
Under the
and you hear the glass of his thing shatter.
I know. You've got gills, bro.
Yeah.
Like what? Surely you should be thriving in this muck.
Yeah.
Surely. And where have you come from? Were you on the surface at some point, or they came on a colony ship from somewhere else? Like, anyway, he never gets brought up.
No.
Again, Hath Peck and Hath Gable, I think, are their names.
They have names?
Yes, they do. They're in the end credits.
They do.
Yes, they do.
Hath rights.
They just sort of, I mean, she never brings him up. She has this kind of, bond with this Hath, and they go off on this adventure, and they have a couple of bits of banty lines back and well, it's not, it's banty line, glub, glub, glub.
Yeah.
But then he drowns and Martha's like really cut up about it.
Yeah.
And doesn't mention it when she goes back down to the surface. Didn't you go off with it? No.
No, he's staying back at base.
Yeah, he's fine. He just wanted he was minding the door for me. Yeah, he's all right. So she sort of doesn't do anything in this story.
No, she doesn't. It just feels so weird. And then at the end she's like, yeah, all right, I want to go home now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, you didn't like really sort of hang out or anything, you guys.
Yeah.
You spend so much of the story away from each other.
A lot of it is Martha going and Donna both going, this is good fun, isn't it? And then at the end, she's like, yeah, take me home.
Yeah.
Actually,
changed my mind.
All this is great, but you fucking lighten up, mate. You know, last of the Time Lords, blah, blah, blah. I get it. Your race is all dead. You know, well, they're not, because I saw one last year and he nearly
tortured my family.
He enslaved my entire family. Fucking get over it, mate. You know, like you've had how many decades to get over not being around your species anymore?
Yeah.
Bloody mope. It does seem like every so often there's just a bit where, David, can you do your breathy voice?
Yeah.
For this? I'm the last of the Time Lords.
Yeah.
And he does all that and it's like, oh, I'm nodding off, mate.
It is interesting that this is probably the only story where we really get more of a suggestion of the Doctor's old life, like with his family and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he doesn't go into much detail.
No.
But, you know, for him to very clearly come out and say, you know,
I've had a daughter.
Yeah, I used to be a dad.
Yeah, and even in the context of the Time War, he's like, I kill people.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Stephen Greenhorn wrote this story.
Yeah.
Who had previously written The Lazarus Experiment.
Oh, I like that story.
It's a good story.
Yeah.
And this is a fine story. It's very classic Who. It's very base under siege.
Yeah.
You've got the angry, shouty general who's the main baddie.
Yeah.
But it's that, again, we come back to this thing. Every time it's a story that's at the bottom of those lists and we think, it's because it doesn't have a really good central villain.
Yeah, the baddie is just any baddie, any man on a base under siege story. You know, it's the sort of baddie I would have written in an action figure adventure.
Yeah.
The General
Cobb.
Yeah. Literally just that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make a good custom with him with the primeval figures with the green combat fatigues as well. You know, he's just.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's a Battles in Time card as well.
Of course he is. And the other boy, the boy from, is he in Skins?
Oh yeah.
Like none of the characters, they have no character.
No.
You have horny teenager who wants to cop off with Jenny and then gets
rejected
for it. And that's about it.
Yeah. I guess it's 45 minutes. It's that classic. So you've got single 45 minutes. What's the story? There's two. But I have to say, I think the 7-day war thing is such a good idea. It's so Doctor Who as well.
Yeah. No, I do like that. That is good. And I like the underground city thing. It does make me laugh that everything is like, this is a theatre in Cardiff.
Yeah.
We've boarded the windows
I was trying to count the locations because I know that Midnight is the cheap one that year. But I thought, is this like the second cheapest one that they did? Because it's maybe like 5 or 6 locations.
Yeah, there's not much going on, is there?
No.
That tunnel at the beginning is quite good with that looks cool.
It looks like the one from Flatline.
Yes, it does look like
the one from War from 55. It probably is.
It probably is that
If it's in
tunnel.
Cardiff, it probably is.
It probably is that one, yeah. And I actually thought that some of the landscape effects, like when you see Martha and the Half up there wandering around.
The caved in
you know, some of that stuff.
Spaceship.
Yeah, I thought actually this doesn't look too bad, you know. But I think the funny thing watching it back was, wow, this kind of feels like I'm watching old Doctor Who, in as much as it kind of feels a bit cheap.
I was absolutely thinking when it came to the post-credits scene, and I thought we're 5 minutes in and we haven't left this one location. Yeah, I thought, it's a good bit of cost saving that. Yeah, like, you really haven't had to do much. No, and it's all shot reverse shot. It's shot very statically. Yeah. I get the impression it's cheap and cheerful story.
Yeah, I think it must have been.
I think when you can see the production a lot more as well, like, to a modern eye, it's shot in SD. We're not into HD yet, so it looks a little bit, not fuzzy. No. But it's not a crisp image. And it looks like telly from that time. Yeah. Like, if you put Primeval on next to it, they were shot with the same sort of cameras and they had the same movie filters put over them and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, that it just has that vibe. But I can sort of remember thinking that at the time as well. Yeah, there's like, this doesn't feel
like what's before it? The Sontaran story,
which is a big two-parter. Lots of locations, explosions, prosthetics.
And then after that, you've got Unicorn and the Wasp, which looks really nice because it's a lovely
CGI one.
Got the big wasp, lovely period costumes and the house and stuff. So that looks good, and it's a good script. It's a snappy script. It's clever. It's a clever pastiche. I'm not allowed to say that because it's Gareth Roberts, but
I mean, I was watching it and thinking, I mean, the dialogue's a lot snappier in it than it was in this one, even from the Next Time trailer.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, one thing I will say is I am definitely going to appreciate David Tennant and Catherine Tate as a pairing a lot more. Because they were great in this.
Oh, very much so.
And their chemistry is just... It's... I wouldn't say same levels as like a Tom or a Liz.
No.
But I think she's his equivalent.
Yeah, they work very well.
Yeah. Directed by Alice Troughton, who also did Midnight.
Yeah.
No relation.
It is no relation?
No relation.
Okay. I'm just looking at my notes, and one thing has just popped out at me. The scene with the stethoscope where he listens to her heartbeats. And then he says about a Time Lord, and she's like, "What's a Time Lord?" And then that's when he gets really like, huffy, and he goes, and this was the line: "A shared code, a shared suffering."
I know.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
Shared suffering? Not really.
Well, I get what he means in that you can't claim that she's the same as me because she hasn't had the experience of what my civilization has gone through. I get that. But also it's like, it doesn't matter how many hearts she's got, you surely are treating everybody the same way.
Yeah.
I know you're affronted because everybody's saying she's your daughter and you probably feel a personal responsibility to her. But when he gets into that level of thing, it's a bit like, all right, bro, leave it out, you know? And it's not her fault your civilization's burned. It's literally your fault.
Yeah, it's not your fault. Her fault that you spaffed into this machine. And he's the one who turns around and says, "She's my daughter." And then he spends the rest of the episode going, "She's not my daughter." You fucking said it, you dick.
If you had said, "She's part of my genetic code," and somebody went, she's your daughter, and you went, "No, she isn't, shut up."
Yeah,
that would have been it.
Yeah.
You know, and you wouldn't have had to have been so emotionally attached to her.
Yeah.
But he admits it. He says it himself. Well, I suppose in some kind of terms, she's my daughter. It's like,
because obviously that makes a good hook.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so then she turns around, and then we go, "No, you're not. But you literally just said that I was your daughter. So what's this about, mate?"
Yeah.
Anyway, the Hath, I think, look really cool.
They're really cool.
You know, there's obviously...
quite a few of them, isn't there?
Quite a few of them. Yeah. One or two that have the prosthetic gills that open and close, and the eyes. But again, it's just a load of movement work, and the fact that apparently they had their lines actually scripted in English.
I was actually thinking that. I was like, I imagine they probably did so that...
they could know what to react to. And it's like Dalek operators having to know the lines, even though they're not saying them.
Yeah. I mean, they do it with Chewbacca in Star Wars.
They do it with Chewbacca. They had Hath action figures as well.
Yeah, I've got one.
Obviously, it's one of those designs where they go, "Hey, that looks good." Stick it, you know. And
I tell you what, I was impressed by was their guns that actually fired fiery stuff.
I couldn't work out what that was about.
Yeah,
they're P90s. Those guns.
Oh, okay.
I've been playing a lot of Warzone.
Yeah.
But they've got like gas canisters attached to the bottom of the stock.
Right.
And when you look at them before they're even fired, there's like a little blue flame on the inside. So maybe it was like, we can't fire
projectiles.
Or even if they're blanks, we can't fire things in this space. Or we've just had an episode with a lot of, you know, in the Sontaran story.
And just to try and make it a bit more futuristic, we'll have like a...
Exactly.
So close you can feel their fire.
Exactly.
Type gun.
The Doctor tells Cobb to look up the word genocide in the dictionary, where he'll find a picture of the Doctor with the caption, "Over my dead body." See the silence in Series 6, Genesis of the Daleks, Remembrance of the Daleks, etc. You're not one to be lecturing on genocide.
Time War.
Mate. Yeah, exactly. Time Lord Victorious, he wipes out the Cthulhu or whatever they're called.
Oh, does he?
Just like that. Yeah, gone. So, you know, you're not one to be talking about...
Is that canon? I mean, as far as the BBC are concerned, I think it is.
It is, yeah. I'd say it has to be in that case, doesn't it? You have to accept.
I think most of fandom has forgotten it happened. So
yeah, it's funny that, and it felt like it was going to be the start of like maybe another project that was like that. I mean, I'm sure there'll be opportunities to do expansive multimedia things once the show's kicked off again with Shooty.
I mean, David Tennant's back, so, you know.
You never know.
You don't need to tread on the Doctor's toes when you do it.
Oh my God. That was so terrible, wasn't it? When you think about that now, you think, why? Give it to her.
Yeah.
She's got nothing going on. You know, like in terms of the expanded media. I mean, I know it's because stuff with her on it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
But whatever. You know, at least do her the courtesy, personally.
At least have her in it.
Yeah, exactly. As a character at some point. Yeah.
On the bottom of the post.
Yeah. I'm here as well.
I'm in your story.
Want a jammy dodger? I love it.
Custard cream.
Sorry, custard cream.
God, dude.
Big fan. It's just my
What's
head.
going on today?
My head is all over the place. I love it when 10th Donna rebuff the whole couple thing.
Yeah.
When they're like, you know, we're not. That's a lovely dynamic because it's so not the prototypical 10th Doctor relationship with a companion. Yeah. You know, that's very sweet.
Yeah. I liked that moment with the toy mouse.
Yeah, that was very
Tom.
Yeah, very Tom.
I thought, Tom would have done something like that.
Very Tom. Donna's womanly wiles getting rejected. I thought it was very funny. That whole sequence is dubbed as well. Dubbed quite badly.
Is it really?
Yeah, it was quite interesting.
I did watch this like early in the morning. Yeah. Before work, and I was like, let's just get this out of the way.
I kind of treated it the same way. It's only 45 minutes, but I'm kind of constantly checking the clock. It goes through. Gonna end. When can I get back to work? Not really. No. It was fine.
It was fine. You know, it was okay. What about that ridiculous laser scene with the backflips?
I mean, apparently it's based off the Toxic music video.
Britney was it really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a set piece. It's like the only set piece from that story that's ever going to get replayed in Doctor Who Confidential or like documentaries like that. So you got that scene in, but that's what, like, as soon as those laser beams, I went, oh yeah. That story, but nothing else in this one made me go, oh yeah, I remember that. The source, the sigh of the universe or whatever, which ends up being the ball that can terraform this planet so everything is okay again. Yeah. It's, you know, it's a MacGuffin, really. You know? I like the whole thing of the stamped signs around the base.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And obviously that leading to the reveal that it's been going on for 7 days. Yeah.
So why don't they realise it's 7 days? I got a bit lost with that, to be honest.
I'm kind of assuming that
the original people all got killed.
Yeah, they're going through such a high body count of people getting shot by the half that everybody involved in the story hasn't been alive for more than 7 days.
Damn.
But sure, so what's Cobb? Did Cobb come out of the machine that fucking old? You know? Or is he part of the deception? But he doesn't let on that he's part of the... No. You know, that's a bit of a...
I do... That was my one thing. It was like, I can see what you're trying to do. Yeah. But I don't feel like the foundations are actually here. Like, this is a nice idea, but I don't feel like you've really hung it on anything solid.
No. I mean, the fact that nothing happens until, like, half an hour into it.
Yeah. I think in my notes, I put... Maybe it would have made more sense if they'd have said, oh, it's been a month, rather than 7 days, because 7 days is not a very long time. And I know obviously that's meant to be very impactful. Like, this is only happening for a week.
But realistically,
it's like maybe a month would have kind of just about been a bit more credible.
But then at the same time, it can't, like when he sonics that projector and then the map expands, I was like, did nobody knock it? Did nobody like twist it or rub it and it went, oh look, there's more, exactly, all that. Nicely done. But then it kind of makes sense, like, well, okay, if the war's only just been going on for a week.
Maybe they're just all fucking stupid.
I mean, they clearly are.
It's just
pretty
a
crap,
you know, colony of idiots.
Exactly. And yeah, the final scene where Jenny gets shot. And then...
There's an amazing bit that made me laugh.
Go on.
When she gets shot and Thomas turns round to Martha and goes, is she going to be all right? No, she's got a fucking hole in her chest, you stupid cow.
I know, and Martha's like...
Yeah.
Like, are you fucking... You're fucking blind? You know, like, obviously she's fucking not all right.
She's there. No blood, but...
That whole bit when he pulls the gun out and puts it to its head, Cobb's head, it's like... Okay, we all know that there's no dramatic tension in this because you're not going to do it. Yeah. Because you've just spent the whole bloody episode talking about how bad guns are and violence and war. You're not going to, you know, yeah, it's the Doctor's daughter, but he's been cussing around and admonishing her for like the last 40 minutes anyway. And yeah, like, then he goes on about be the people that wouldn't do the thing or whatever he says.
Yeah.
It's like, is it possible for you to frame everybody's understanding of what they need to take away from the story without putting you right in the middle of it? Like, I'm a good person. Be like me. Don't do the thing that I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
I leave you now with this wisdom. And then he walks off. He's Space Jesus.
Yeah,
he comes into a situation. He causes, you know, some shit to go down and then goes, this is namaste. This is how you now need to move on. I leave you with the lesson and the body strewn around you to learn from that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, cheers, man. Gonna clean anything up or...
Yeah.
I just thought it was a bit...
No, I hate all that stuff.
Yeah.
I've never liked any of that stuff with the Doctor.
Yeah.
You know, because I don't really get the sense that any of the other Doctors were ever like that.
What, like grandstanding, coming in and being like, I'm brilliant, be like me?
Yeah.
No, there's
John Pertwee tells the Thals, like, you know, don't... He has that lovely moment where he's like, you know, don't make war seem like a good thing, you know, tell them about the losses and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's nice. But then to have
that's actually like, that's universal for everybody, not like, I'm really sad and now you should all be really sad as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just stuff like that that makes me think like, oh, I don't like your Doctor.
No,
you're a bit of a knobhead.
Yeah, and it doesn't tank my enjoyment of the whole thing, but it is like a notch against it. Like I've had to sit through him being mopey again, and all the Time Lord Victoria stuff and the oncoming storm. Yeah, you know, it's fine for a while, but then, because you're not going to do what eventually happened in the Time War is undone and everything goes back to normal, he doesn't get that payoff. Yeah. I suppose until, you know, the Day of the Doctor. Yeah. Where he can get over that whole, I'm not a vengeful angry god anymore. My people are back, or actually I wasn't responsible for the things that I was ultimately responsible for. Yeah. And so there is a sort of dramatic irony and a sort of tragedy in the fact that when you're watching that character in that moment, he doesn't know actually that he wasn't responsible. Yeah, yeah. And he doesn't know that. Like it was all okay, and his hands are clean. Yeah. So there is a kind of a powerful thing in that, but equally, you know, that's not the intent in the moment. No. And you know that Russell ultimately isn't totally cool with the fact that Time War just gets bloop, it's all okay again. So it does feel a bit like that wasted momentum of like, well, it's all meaningless anyway, this moping. Yeah. Because it's all right, but wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, he doesn't know at the moment, so it's fine, you know. Yeah. It's like getting annoyed at the Fourth Doctor for starting the events of the Time War in Genesis. It's like, it wasn't the inference, that wasn't the intention anyway. No. It's just part of the ongoing narrative, the unfolding narrative of Doctor Who. Yeah.
There's a really good error at the end of the episode.
Is there?
Yeah, in the TARDIS.
Yeah. Is there a light?
Yeah, there's a big light, like one of these soft boxes up here.
Soft boxes, yeah. There's one where a Hath, you can hear him in his mask go like, it's when they're using the battering ram. Right. And he goes like, go! Yeah, it's something like that. Or heave! It's one of those.
I was hoping it was going to be like, oh, fucking hell, get me out of this bloody mask.
Can I have I'm dying, some water, please. I'm gagging on this. The liquid started seeking into the helmet. They look great. I like the house.
Yeah, they're cool.
The production design generally is cool. I like the idea of an underground city. You know, it's a different kind of aesthetic. It's not super futuristic. Yeah. And, you know, like brushed metal corridors and all that kind of stuff. So that's quite nice. But
I think that's what makes it feel cheap as well. Is that they were like, let's find a location and some location and just fill it with some shit.
Yeah. I looked at it immediately and I was like, I bet there's half a dozen Torchwoods and other Doctor Who's that
undoubtedly.
It'll be the same theatre from Daleks in Manhattan. It'll be the same ballroom from that flashback Captain Jack episode of Torchwood. Yeah, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And that prison cell they're locked up in is like upstairs round the corner from one of the box seats, you know? They've not had to make do, but they've chosen a location, they've gone with it, let's just make this work with this aesthetic. And it's different, but you're right, that's the thing that makes it a bit cheap. It's like, this is not a space that has been planned to be used in this way.
Yeah, and I imagine probably when they were writing it, they were probably like, space underground city.
Yeah.
No, we have to use a theatre in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Oh, it's...
Well, Dave knows someone who's got the keys. He can let us in from about 12. So we, as long as we're right before the matinee starts, we're all right. Anything else on the Doctor's Daughter?
Not really.
Murray Gold?
Yeah, Murray Gold.
There's a couple of bits in this I quite like.
Yeah.
I like the bass, when it's just a bass by itself, when like Martha and the Hath are like looking at the schematics together.
Yeah.
There's a couple of nice sort of ponderous bits.
Yeah.
There's a few bits I was like, oh my God, I remember that from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like, the bits of the pre-credit music.
Yeah, I think watching it, I was thinking with mind of what is to come in Doctor Who. It's like I saw quite a lot of people, because we haven't mentioned that Sega Nakanola is now leaving.
I was going to bring it up when we came to the Q&A.
Yeah.
I think we've got a few questions about Murray, so I think we'll...
Oh, okay. So, I mean, I liked Sagan's music, and I liked it was understated. I like Murray's music, but watching this, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of that. Feel these emotions. You will feel them. Feel them.
Na, 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 na.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! All right, I get it. I like the twee stuff. I like the instrumentation where he uses stuff that isn't an orchestra. And it's, when he isn't using brass and strings.
Yes.
I really like his arrangements and I really like his instrumentation. I love the stuff like Series 1.
Yeah.
When it was all like samples.
Yeah,
and
and it wasn't an actual orchestra. Yeah.
I like that because it kind of forces him to stay away from the stuff that in a Titanic where the strings start and suddenly you go, it's that.
And I think, when you get to like the Capaldi era and he's starting to use electronic music a bit more, and like in Heaven Sent, he's got that lovely, like very Peter Howley bit, and and he uses that a lot more, and it's like, that's good. Do more of that. Like even with the 12th Doctor's theme, that's got some electronic bits in it. It's like that's what you want, but this over the top orchestration. And...
I mean, it was a thing at the time, wasn't it, that the music's too loud, drowning out the dialogue. Dead Ringers did a sketch about it.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Yeah.
It does pound you over the head.
Yeah.
It's not subtle.
Yeah.
The production in general of Doctor Who at that time isn't very subtle.
No.
It's very harshly lit with lots of coloured bulbs and stuff.
Yeah.
It's very overly, saturated, some of the shots, the colour correction in it. It's like, this is a warm scene. It's all very beige and brown.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that Russell said something like this was a programme that it had to be, if it was on TV, if the TV was on and you were in a packed house, like a house in the Powell Estate, you had to know it was on. Yeah. So it needed to be loud and bright and stuff. And I can understand that. But one thing that I don't like, and this happens from Runaway Bride, the TARDIS is lit so brightly. And it makes it look a bit shit.
It's the studio lighting you get in the 80s.
It is.
Where they just turn everything up.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no depth to anything. Like, it's a very, and not dissing Alice Troughton, but it's a very flat palette. Yeah. Because you can't allow things to go into shadow because it's very brightly lit. Yeah. There's a nice shot. I wish there was some publicity photos of it, actually, because we were talking about how nice the TARDIS looks when it's got that big girder across the front of it in Dalek's Invasion of Earth. Yeah. When Martha is attending to the Hath, it's in the background and it's got rubble around it and stuff. Yeah. I'd love to get a press shot of that. That would look cool. Yeah. But it's very one-dimensional in terms of its
like when you compare it in Series 1 and 2, it feels far more atmospheric. Those greens and stuff. It looks really
underlit.
Yeah, it looks great. And then you sort of think, why did they decide to change that?
Don't know.
Why did they, did they just think, the TARDIS doesn't look inviting enough or something?
It's not the 10th Doctor's aesthetic to be in a gloomy space.
No.
It might be for the 9th Doctor.
For the 9th Doctor. Perhaps, yeah.
But it doesn't really suit him.
No, I guess not.
Yeah.
Well, that was the Doctor's Daughter.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's very fillery.
Is it the worst episode of the initial Russell T Davies era? Oh, is it just a series?
It's just a series 4.
Just a series 4.
I think Fear Her is the
Fear Her.
Love and Monsters.
No. What else is in series 4?
It probably is. I mean, Planet of the Ood.
Oh, I like that.
What's episode 2?
Fires of Pompeii. I like that.
That's okay. Yeah, it probably is the weakest one. But considering we're not sort of sat here going, it was bloody awful and we're tearing it apart. It's, you know.
I'd probably sooner have this than Smith and Jones.
That's series 3 though.
Not Smith and Jones. Partners in Crime.
Partners in Crime. Yeah, true. But it's the season opener. It's like, you know, I think a season opener and a season finale, they're kind of in their own worlds, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because every season opener is like a reintroduction to the show.
Yeah.
So
one of those fat women is in Outlaws now, isn't she?
Oh,
she's the community officer.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Outlaws before,
watch it.
It's bloody. Have you finished it?
Yeah.
It's bloody excellent.
Yeah.
It's very, very good.
Really good.
And hopefully there's a 3rd series.
Yes. Yeah. It's nice to watch it and go, oh, that's so and so, and that's that place, and that's that place.
It's odd looking at it and going, Christopher Walken's outside my flat. What's going on? It's just it's great. It's really cool.
Yeah. There were parts of Bristol that I didn't recognise.
This is just for a chat for people who've seen Outlaws. The community centre is
where's
in
that?
Shirehampton.
Ah!
It's Sea Mills, Shirehampton.
Right, okay. So that's why I wouldn't know that, because that's not my neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And like the council estate places, obviously I would not know where.
That's off St Paul's, Stokes Cross.
Yes, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah. Watch Outlaws. See you in a bit. Hello, welcome back to part 2 of the review of Death. You can see some names scrolling underneath our heads, bodies. I can't. I've got a 3rd eye. I can see all this shit. If you
got floaters. that's what Johnny's got.
Yeah, I might be losing my marbles. I might also have issues with my eyes. If you'd like your name to be added to that list of names, then you can become a Patreon supporter over on Patreon. You can get access to loads of exclusive videos. We're going to do Patreon exclusive Q&As, so look forward to that. And also a commentary for Doctor Who Plastic Treachery, which will be great fun for everybody involved. First question is from Christopher Clark, and he says, with the very sad departure of Sagan, which composer do you think should take over? And should the show look to new blood or go back with Murray Gold? Or do you feel focusing too much on returning staff is too safe and could be detrimental to the show? Yes.
Yes.
Basically.
Yeah.
I think having Murray back for the 60th would be really cool. Or you could have Murray back for one of the specials, have Sagan back for another special, and then have the new person do the 3rd one or something.
Yeah.
Or have Murray do all 3. But I'm not so fussed when it comes to post 60th anniversary when you get to Sagan.
Yeah.
But I feel like if you start inviting people like not like Murray, not like a personal thing against Murray Gold, but I want somebody else for Sagan. It feels like it needs.
I think it needs somebody else. I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion that if Murray Gold does come back, maybe it'll only be for the 3, just as like some sort of continuity between the 2 eras, because obviously this is going to be so heavily into this is a nostalgia fest for that period. So far as we know, we don't know what else could be cooking in the pot. Other Doctors could turn up for all we know. But definitely for Ncuti, have a new composer. Who would I like to see do the music? Nicola Holt, who does the music for Loki.
Yeah.
The music for that was really good. The theme tune for that is really cool, synthy, weird. And it's like, nice. That's what we want for Doctor Who. And she did a really good job with the music for Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. She was very good at capturing. I
enjoyed that show, yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Did people not like it?
No, people did like it. I thought it was horse poo.
Well, I'm not that Star Wars is like...
Darth Vader was amazing.
Yeah.
That was cool.
What didn't you like about it?
I didn't like all the stuff with Leia.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi was like, oh, then Anakin Skywalker's dead. All right, bye.
Right.
Why wouldn't you fucking kill him? Okay. I know why he couldn't kill him, because...
He has to come back in the movies.
But, actually write a...
Sure.
I mean, from what I've read from the guy who wrote the original film version, all of that stuff was sorted.
Right.
But then when they decided to do it into a Disney Plus series, they fucked it. So...
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. There's some info for you there, folks.
Yeah.
Talking of Star Wars, Call the Ghostbusters says... Why is it that some Doctor Who fans desire Doctor Who to be a big franchise on the level of Star Wars? Do we desire for the show to be a mainstream sensation where normal folks can talk about it with diehards? What is the need for recognition of a show we already love? That's a very interesting question.
Interesting question.
I don't think anybody should be adverse to the Doctor Who being massively popular again. No. Because there'll still always be bits of it that you like that
they will
mainstream fans don't understand. That's what it was always like.
Yeah. And it's the same with Star Wars.
Exactly.
You know.
The only aversion I ever had to anything like that was, and you said it before in videos, was when you're young and you see a kid pick up a Dalek in Toys R Us, you go, you don't know what story that's from or whatever. But you're fucking like 11 at that point.
Yeah.
So when you're slightly older, you kind of look at the landscape of things and go, why shouldn't... Yeah, I'd love Doctor Who to be massively popular again,
precisely, you know. I would love to be able to go into the office here and have someone people, say, did you watch Doctor Who on Saturday?
Yeah.
And be like, yes, what did you think? Doesn't happen anymore. Shit, yeah. I'd be like, oh, I'm not asking you again, man.
Yeah, I know. I mean, inevitably, we're going to be, I can't wait for it to come. Oh, that was, last week's was rubbish. What are you talking about? It's the Doctor Who fan way.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should be adverse to their show, the show they love being really popular. You'll always have the thing that you like.
Yeah.
If you only like getting all the big finishes and you think that TV Doctor Who died when Jodie Whittaker became the Doctor, get the fuck. But also, that's your little bit of Doctor Who, that's your microcosm of the show.
Yeah.
Nobody's taking that away from you just because kids are now being Daleks in the playground again. What's wrong with that?
And I mean, like, look at us. You know, we're obviously sad gits that love this programme. But if someone came up to me and started talking to me about, I don't know, PDAs and EDAs and comic book stuff, I'd be like, whoa, what are you talking about? I don't know what this means.
You pretend not to be a fan. Do you think Doctor Who should continue with serialization or return to standalone stories?
I really enjoyed the serialized element of Flux. I mean, obviously, they didn't do a good job with it come the end. But imagine that, but being good, that'd be brilliant.
That would be good.
Imagine Flux.
Imagine Flux good. Good.
Yeah.
I'd love it to be serialized.
Yeah.
I think maybe you could like split the series so that you've got like a load of introductory stories, and then when you hit the midway series point, you're like, right, here's the thread we're picking up for the rest of the year. I suppose they do that in the new series in so much as you get more heavily signposted references to whatever's coming up in the finale, be it Bad Wolf or whatever. But it's not really serialized in that way.
No.
It's a story arc.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the fun of Flux was the cliffhangers, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Every week we would, it was like watching old Doctor Who. It was like, how are they going to get out of that one?
Exactly, it's a proper cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Kieran Cooper asks, what types of merch would you like to see them roll out for the 60th anniversary? I remember the 50th having so much, it felt like a fever dream. Couldn't afford any of it anyway.
Crikey, anything would be better than nothing.
I think we'll get like a 60th box set with like a Donna and a 10.
For what, from like B&M or something?
Yeah.
Cool.
The last B&M set will be like the 60th anniversary one.
Crikey. I don't know really. They just make so much tat these days. Just like all the, I went to Forbidden Planet and it was like,
It's not an episode of the Review of Death until we start cussing out Review of Death. Forbidden Planet Bristol.
It's just, obviously it's not Forbidden Planet's fault, but it's just like, it's a shame, isn't it? Obviously, everyone's going to be like, well, I want all the toys again. Yeah. But I just don't think that's going to happen. I think people who think they're going to suddenly walk into Forbidden Planet and be able to pick up all these figures, I think it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
No.
Because the market isn't there generally.
Well, that's it. There was a question about, what do you think the merch situation is going to be with Shooty? It's like a Sonic, a TARDIS, him, a companion, a Dalek, a Cyberman, or whatever big monsters from that year they get.
Don't get me wrong, if it could go back to 2007 and it be like a massive success,
absolutely.
And there's, I could walk into Smith's Toys and not see a shit ton of Marvel stuff. Do you know what? This is so weird. And think of Star Wars. Star Wars in Smith's Toys, which is like Toys R Us now, Star Wars section is like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like nothing.
Wow.
And Marvel takes up all of it. Bit of Batman. Wrestling takes up so much stuff.
I think Smiths and WWE have got a thing together.
Oh,
They've got
okay.
like a partnership thing.
Right.
So whenever they do UK tours,
right,
they do appearances at Smith's.
Oh, I see.
But
because I was going to say, I was like, wow,
there's a lot of wrestling stuff.
There's so much wrestling stuff.
I know.
Like, who's watching this?
I don't watch WWE. I'm going to Clash at the Castle, the first WWE arena show in the UK in 30 years.
Wow.
In Cardiff,
Wow.
Principality, September. Can't bloody wait. I can't bloody wait.
Are you in it?
What am I? Yeah, I'll be ringside, mate. Yeah. I'll jump the guardrail in the main event and get the shit kicked out of me. I think it's time for the answer to the ultimate question, says Joseph A. Morrison. Which is better as a foe, Daleks or Cybermen? Don't listen.
That's a difficult one, isn't it, really? Because I guess the Daleks are like the ultimate baddie. Mm-hmm. I mean, I love the Cybermen as a concept.
Yeah.
But I guess Daleks are generally better, aren't they?
I think it's got to be Daleks.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the cultural splash they've had, their actual kind of concept, I guess.
Yeah.
Something I think it is worth acknowledging is how much of a say so many different people had in the creation of the initial Dalek story. That it's not just all Terry Nation. It's obviously Ray Kasich and his design for the Daleks.
Yeah.
It's obviously the voice and David Graham, but also that staccato tone in the script when you read the dialogue. The initial drafts of the Daleks is they speak a lot more kind of casually and like free-handed and like, all right, Bob, what's going on? I'm going to wipe out some files. But in the it's David Whittaker as the script editor that gives them that broken, much more aggressive tone of voice.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Terry Nation, but you know, it's just it's the amalgamation of all those different people coming together to make that sensation.
I think really the success of the Dalek is it really should be on the production more than it should be on Terry Nation because kids like the look of them, kids like the sound of them.
Yeah.
I don't think kids were going into the playground and saying, do you know what, Timmy? I really enjoyed the episode where they spent 23 minutes trying to jump across that hole. Me too, Billy.
God. Yeah, Daleks.
Yeah.
I think Daleks win. Ultimately.
Yeah. But my kids, they're not my kids. My nephews, they're loving Cybermen. All they want to watch is Cybermen. Although they did watch Dalek the other day.
Did they? It turned into one then.
They watched Dalek the other day. They bloody loved it. That was their first new series story. And they were like, God, this is good, isn't it?
I love that.
And they loved Eccleston.
Yeah, I bet they did.
Emilio was like, John Pertwee's my favourite Doctor, but Christopher Eccleston,
it's because he's got a bloody big gun at the end.
Yeah, he was like, I said, what did you like about him? He said, I liked his anger. And he's like, he was very emotional.
I associate with his anger. Oh God, we need to like take him somewhere.
And actually, honestly, I watched that scene. I watched the whole episode with them, but I saw that scene in particular with Eccleston and the Dalek. The first time they meet, I was like, that is probably one of the best scenes in all of Doctor Who.
You heard it here.
And I think, but the best acted scenes. Eccleston,
Blinder.
Absolutely brilliant.
Because it's like, you know, the Daleks are obviously an object of ridicule in the general public, but like you get an actor of that weight reacting in that way to that thing, which is just an inanimate object.
Yeah.
It sells.
He sells it.
The Daleks for that whole year, just off that one reaction.
Yeah.
And his fear and hatred of them.
Yeah.
It carries right through just that first meeting.
Yeah. And I don't think after series 1, maybe Doomsday, when Rose has a similar reaction, after that, they lose their power.
Yeah.
Completely.
I'd agree. Yeah.
For whatever reason. Journey's End, they're just sort of...
I think it's because at that point...
Sarah Jane does actually acts it very well. When they hear the Daleks and she's like...
Oh yeah, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Really good.
Yeah.
But...
they never really get that again.
No.
And they never kind of feel as imposing and like...
No.
Oh, shit. You know, like the only other time I can think of genuinely is I think that bit in Revolution when the redesigned police Dalek comes out of the smoke. It's I think that's like a properly like these things are fucking cool, man. Like, they're scary, you know, they're imposing and ominous.
I'd completely forgotten that.
So, you know the bit when they're practicing the riot?
Yeah.
But I just think that the score for that is the first time that they're treated with any kind of, like, weight.
Yeah.
Like, these things are deadly, man. You need to, you know, watch out, and then it sprays them with water. But, you know, whatever. I love that scene. I love the soundtrack for it.
God, I'd forgotten that completely.
Since we know RTD is going to be dipping back into his own era a little bit, at least for the anniversary, are there any elements, plot, threads, locations, monsters, characters that you'd really like to see revisited in the new series, either from classic or past New Who? I'm going to go for past New Who and say I want the Slitheen to come back.
Do you?
I love the Slitheen to come back. Yeah. Think about all the social commentary you can do of fat, feckless, ridiculous-looking bloody politicians. And,
True.
Or, you know, if you wanted to do that kind of story again, you know, you could do that.
Yeah. I don't know, really. I think there's enough already. I don't think I really want anything else.
No?
No.
You don't want anything returning... Got what one for any plot element, location, monster?
From the new series?
From the new series? Want to go to New Earth or whatever?
Nah.
No? Ah. Damn.
Sorry.
Classic series.
Classic series.
I'll think of like 9 now.
No. I mean, only Peladon. That's the only thing that... I'm really... I'm just done with Doctor Who. Bored of it now.
Well,
do something new.
Along those lines, I think this is a really interesting question. In each of your opinions, where was the beginning of the end for classic Who?
I mean, we did kick the shit out of Warriors of the Deep, didn't we?
We did. I think
it is kind of around that time.
I think it's the Five Doctors.
Do you reckon?
That's as high as that show gets in that era. And you think, if John had left then, if JNT had left after the Five Doctors, after that season, because it's a massive success to have pulled all that together anyway, but for it to be as good as it is, because I love the Five Doctors, I think...
the BBC were probably invested enough then to actually think, oh shit, we need to find someone to fill that role.
And if somebody comes off of it and they go, well, we can't take our foot off the accelerator now, we just had a really successful 20th anniversary. You know, I feel like at that point, John should have moved on and somebody new should have taken over that role. And I don't think it's John being there that's detrimental to the programme's downfall or anything. But I just think it would have been an injection of new ideas. It would have been somebody else coming. He wouldn't have, maybe somebody, he really, you know, he fought for the show and you can't stop the BBC's lack of interest in it. You can't sort of stop that from happening. But I just think maybe something else, if somebody else had just come in with a few more ideas.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because then, what do you get? Warriors of the Deep. Awakening, which I don't really understand what that story's all about. Francis is fine. That's a good story. Resurrection, is that next? That's great. Planet Fire is a pile of arses.
It's not great.
No. And then Caves is obviously superb. But then it's those sort of ebbs and flows, isn't it, from that point on?
You can say it ebbs a little bit in the early 80s.
Yeah.
But I think that when you know you've got, you know, in the grand scheme of looking at that period, and you've got the Five Doctors, and then from that point, it generally, I'm not saying this is, you know, law. But it kind of generally goes like, it plateaus. It plateaus at that point.
Yeah, because I think by Tom Baker, you know, and I love Tom Baker's era.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I like the beginning of it. You know, season 15. It's like, you know, that's shaky ground. 15, 16, 17, it's all a bit wobbly. Then 18 and 19 is that, like you said, is that injection of new ideas and it's all been refreshed and it's like, ooh. And then as soon as 19's gone out the window, 20, it feels like, oh, things are sort of trending along here. And
treading water.
Something's not quite gelling in the same way as it had done the previous two seasons.
And even from a production perspective, it's at that point that there's disagreements about what direction the show should be going in, and you get that tension with Eric and John and all that. I'd say, Five Doctors is probably around the time where it kind of starts
I think you're probably right.
Out.
Yeah. And it kind of happened with Doctor Who now.
True, when it hit the 50th anniversary and then everyone didn't want to know about it after that, really. There you go.
Maybe we should just stop celebrating anniversaries.
Yeah, maybe that's like a curse for Doctor
Yeah.
Who. 60th, Shooty's the Doctor for 3 years, and then that's it, it's the end of the show. Maybe that's like his silver nemesis.
Yeah.
And you get 3 more years and it gets cancelled. But there was so much promise.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
the JNT master plan was going to come into effect and then it gets cancelled. If RTD was to develop a spin-off show alongside this new era, what would you like to see? Would these be totally new or building off aspects of Sarah Jane, Torchwood or Class? I think, obviously, Class is ass. It needs to be left in the past.
Yeah, I said, Johnny was watching a program from 2005 called Bodies on Netflix, and it's very good. And it had the lady who plays Mrs. Quill in Class.
Yeah.
I forget her name.
Catherine.
Yeah,
Ryan?
whatever. Yeah, and I said, oh, that's so and so. She was in Doctor Who. Well, sort of. And he said, what do you mean she was sort of in Doctor Who? I said, well, she was in Class with Peter Capaldi that one time. And he went, oh. So she wasn't in Doctor Who. I said no.
Sarah Jane it's on its own thing. I don't think you can tap back into Sarah Jane again. It's not with Liz.
No.
Without Liz.
No. And I think it's lovely what they're doing with Rani on Big Finish.
Yeah.
I think that's a lovely idea. But I don't think that would work to bring it back on TV as the Rani Adventures. Definitely. No, the Rani Adventures. That feels like another program entirely. But in terms of spin-offs, I mean, I'm not really the biggest fan of spin-offs for Doctor Who anyway.
I
enjoy Torchwood.
I'd go for a Torchwood,
Bristol.
Beijing. Yeah, Bristol. I'd do that. Weevils floating around in the harbour.
Yeah, well, we said that, but we've done this gag before.
We have, well, but let's retread all gags. It's not like we don't reuse gags all the time, to be fair.
No.
I'd like to have another Torchwood.
Outlaws. It would be like Outlaws, but Torchwood.
It would be like Outlaws, but Torchwood.
Instead of drugs, it's like, we've got Vraxoin.
It would still be lots of drugs.
Lots of drugs.
Yeah, I'd like to see a Torchwood something or other. I suppose the big question is, do you have another Doctor doing their own spin-off series alongside Shooty?
Yeah.
I feel like unless it's exclusively on a different platform, and it's like separate enough, and not like different platforms in like different format, like Big Finish or whatever.
No,
if it can exist in its own little bubble, isolated from the main series, I think it could be all right.
I think it's difficult. I think we are too disconnected now from anything that has happened in Doctor Who recently, and by recently I mean from 2005 onwards.
Right.
That's too old now.
Yeah.
That would be like...
In terms of references, you mean?
Yeah, for a spin-off. That would be like when Doctor Who came back in 2005, let's have a spin-off, and it's the Brigadier Bambera adventures.
Sure.
You just wouldn't do it because it's insane. So I think the only way spin-offs can happen now is from whatever happens in the new series. I was about to say that. Russell's new ideas. If there's a cool character, if there's a new Captain Jack type character, like Vinder, but not shit, or that kind of thing, and then you can get your spin-off there.
Whatever the spin-off will be, it will be something we haven't seen yet.
Maybe we can have a unit spin-off, but we need new characters. Yeah. So get rid of Kate Stewart.
Get rid of Osgood.
Yeah, because they've had their time.
Yeah.
Kate Stewart's a cardboard cutout anyway. She might turn into a Cyberman or something at the end of the...
We can only hope.
Yeah. More emotion in the performance.
Ricky of Khan has sent us an essay, a fucking essay.
Right.
Do the panel agree with me that it doesn't matter...
the panel?
It doesn't matter if Doctor Who goes through phases of being as popularist as it sometimes is. I've adored the Jodie era, but will concede that it hasn't resonated with the general public in the way that Tom Baker or David Tennant's series have. It's more of a season 24 or season 16, more of an acquired taste for refined palates. I think that's stretching the definition of that a little bit, Ricky. And I love the Jodie Whittaker era, but I think that's a bit much.
Refined palate.
And that's okay. It's wonderful, actually. It's the natural ebb and flow of the show, as we mentioned, ebb and flow. It's just the natural run of things that, sometimes... Are you answering this question for us, Ricky? Lots of little girls feel brave and confident in their rainbow t-shirts now, hooray. And I couldn't give a fuck if Nerdlord 78 in his bedroom bunker doesn't like it. Mass acclaim doesn't necessarily mean better. People voted for Boris Johnson and Brexit. I think that the Whittaker era is the one that will only grow in reputation as time passes. I've always said that.
Yeah.
What's your question? I've always said that. I think that the Whittaker era will be more appreciated as time goes on. But I don't know about acquired tastes.
I think
is it like if you can stomach this, you can deal with anything, or what?
I think in going back to the beginning of the question.
Yes, which is go on.
I think that being mega popular. Being mega popular doesn't mean that that something isn't necessarily not good, because there's plenty of things, like you said, season 25 and 26, superb seasons, but it wasn't very popular with the general public. So I don't think being popular means it's therefore better, but it doesn't hurt for it to be popular, because one wants the program to actually carry on being made.
Exactly.
And I think when it's not popular, that is when you run the risk of people going, let's not make this shit anymore. And I think, probably, I think, honestly, if it hadn't have been for events that we're not privy to, I think we were very lucky that Russell T Davies came back, because I honestly think that we were probably getting very close to Doctor Who having a good old rest again.
Well, you think who else has a cachet that could have come in and created such a buzz? I don't really look at Doctor Who Twitter anymore. Every time I scroll aimlessly through my feed, it's somebody saying this person has said something that is wrong, and it's like, come on everybody, nobody's having a conversation anymore. But when Russell puts something on his Instagram, I find out from Doctor Who Twitter before I even go on Instagram. Everybody goes, what's Russell up to? No other showrunner, no other producer coming into this, apart from like a Peter Jackson or something, could have generated this level of buzz for a show that is like just gone into the edit for 3 specials that may or may not be coming out within the next 12 months. Jesus Christ, that's a huge statement of people's affection and adoration for what's to come. So Doctor Who always will inevitably, just by comparison, knock through any attempt of, let's do 5 years of shit telly and then we'll wait for someone to pick it up. I'm not saying that it has been, but I'm just saying it doesn't literally work like that. It's not scripted in that way. But it does have to have those bits. And it's only when we realise the show's picking up speed and people are interested that you go, that's the big popularist Doctor Who and stuff. You only really notice it when you're in it. I guess. Would you be disappointed if 10 is the only Doctor coming back for the 60th? Whether it's actors not wanting to return or RTD not wanting to do a multi-Doctor story, I think I'll be gutted if we never get to see Capaldi or McGann again as the Doctor. I'll be gutted if Capaldi isn't involved in some way. Matt Smith would be cool to get back. That would be like, man, that's like, I'm looking forward to seeing him come back. Because you always think when the Doctor is the incumbent Doctor, I'm going to be really excited when you are away from the show for 10, 15 years and then come back and do a multi-Doctor. Because you always feel like once you've been in the show like that, you're stamped for life, you'll always end up coming back.
And it's more exciting for Capaldi and Matt Smith to come back because they have distanced themselves from the part in some ways and done their own things. Meanwhile, David Tennant has never seemingly stopped being Doctor Who. No. Because he's always come back to do little skits in things as Doctor Who.
He's the John of that era, isn't he?
He'll do anything as Doctor Who. And, he does all these big finishes. So him being announced as coming back, it was like, okay, cool. But like you said, I'm not the massive Matt Smith fan by any means, but I would still be like, oh shit, Matt Smith's coming back. Obviously, I'd love Capaldi to come back, and I'd love Paul McGann to come back. I have no hopes of Paul McGann returning to the programme whatsoever. So if it does happen, then that would be absolutely superb. But yes, I would be disappointed if it was just David Tennant.
Onto Instagram now. Dark McKnight has asked, what could be the death of Doctor Who? As in, what could kill the current run of the show? I mean, we kind of, as we said before, it's like if you produce a show that is met with general apathy from an audience, that's kind of the death of your show, really. I suppose viewing figures, you could say, would kill a show if they're low, but you look at Doctor Who's viewing figures and they're very respectable. If not great for a show of its kind, on when it's on, for the audience. That it's a family drama. Like, apart from the Durrells on ITV, I can't really think of many family drama. Call the Midwife, is that a family drama?
I don't know.
I can't really think of many other family dramas on telly.
No.
And if Doctor Who's still flying the flag for that kind of entertainment, then if it's the only thing out there, then I don't know. But I can't see any one thing sort of leading to the demise of the programme. It'll probably be a combination of really shit, unfortunate events that kind of led to it, you know, decreasing in quality or whatever. One for you, Matt. We sort of touched on this, but do you feel Doctor Who's merchandise / figure range will ever return to something like the glory days of 2006, 2008? Or has the show / audience / general public changed too much for that to happen? For example, the shift from toys to technology, and will just remain a collector's market from now on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we will ever see it in quite the same way as it was back in the day, because toys just aren't really that big anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, not in the same way, and I think, yeah, I mean, I think it will always be a collector's thing, more so from now on. Yeah, I'm sad to say.
Yeah.
But you know, the fact that they're still being made is cool. But you know, perhaps it needs another thing like with the 3 3/4 inch range. It needs a new. You know, you can have your collector's range, but it needs something more kid friendly. I don't know.
For the big audience.
Yeah.
I think the last time I saw anything like Doctor Who trying to reach out to that audience was when they were doing those like guns, like a Dalek ice
Oh yeah, they did all that stuff.
You know, and that was sort of integrated with VR or something,
Yeah,
wasn't it? You had like a mobile app.
I can't remember.
I
remember. Yeah.
I can see toys like that doing well because if you go into an Asda and you go to the kids section, it's obviously a lot of Funko Pops and stuff, and a lot of Marvel figures.
Yeah.
But they are in a smaller scale.
Yeah.
They're less detailed.
Yeah.
Maybe with the 5.5 range just stays as the collector's range for classic series merch, and you'll always get a Shooty or a new Doctor or a new companion will enter that range.
Yeah.
But yeah, you've got like a cheaper line of toys in a smaller scale for kids.
Yeah.
That could.
I think that's the only way you're going to do it.
It won't go back to 2006, 2008 levels.
No.
The market just doesn't.
It's just not there.
Isn't like that anymore.
No. And I think like the collector's market is so different as well, because you think, you know, you look at a Star Wars Black Series figure, which is like their high-end 6-inch range, you know, the level of detail and articulation and stuff, you know, that is so much more than a character options figure. But then again, you're paying 23, 24 quid for one figure.
Yeah.
And I think we've already discovered that the Doctor Who fandom do not want to be paying that amount of money for a single figure. And it's obviously a very different thing, you know, Doctor Who compared to like a real proper action-based line like Star Wars or superheroes. So.
Yeah, I mean, you see it like when you mentioned with wrestling figures, you see there's like a basics line, and then there's like the way more articulated stuff. Like no 6-year-old who thinks John Cena is a real-life superhero is going to want a Bruno Sammartino or a Bret Hart action figure with a specific gear he wore at the 96 Survivor Series or whatever. It's like, so what? No one cares at that age. So you need maybe, like a basics line of Doctor Who stuff. Would be,
I think so, yeah.
What is Billy's favourite Paul McCartney album? Venus and Mars. Thank you for asking. For future Blu-ray releases, do you think there should be content disclaimers? As I noticed this on the Blu-rays for the Cushing films. There's content warnings in the Cushing films, apparently.
Wow, I wouldn't know. I've not put the discs in yet.
I can think of a few classic Who moments that would warrant one. Yeah, I mean, I think, does BritBox have disclaimers for some Doctor Who's?
Potentially, I think so.
I have a feeling it might. I mean, for like Talons, you probably need something there that says, hey, just so you know, this was seen as acceptable then, even though it totally wasn't. Yeah. But like, I mean, the way they edited Fix with the Sontarans in the season 22
clever.
set, really well done.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be adverse to seeing that done on more things that need. I mean, there's nothing. You're not going to get.
What, is it out all of Talons of Wing Chang?
Talons of Wing Chang. You're not going to get like, the Pakistani Dalek sketch isn't going to end up on a Blu-ray set.
No.
Is it?
No.
But I think for certain things there probably need to be content warnings. Yeah. You're about to watch the Twin Dilemma. Turn away. That kind of a thing. Top 3 favourite Dalek colour schemes.
Ooh. Well, silver and blue.
Movie, silver and blue.
Oh yeah, movie Silver and Blue.
Yeah.
Normal Silver and Blue from the Hartnell, late Hartnell era.
Yeah.
And then third one, I don't know, something out there like Red and Black.
Yeah.
From the movie.
Yeah. That Mutation of Time one.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
That's pretty. Dalek Alpha.
Yeah.
That's pretty. I like the blue. We were talking about them before. The blue one that was at like a couple of conventions.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a light blue colour with like
a bastard just flew into his eye.
Fly flew into his eye. Do you think it's a shame the next Doctor wasn't female? And when do you think we could see another female actor take on the role? You
know, I was thinking this the other day. And it just sort of was like, oh yeah, it's a bloke again. And I was like, that's kind of funny, isn't it? And it does feel weird.
I'm a bit disappointed. I was when Ncuti was announced. I was like, oh, that's really cool, but like only from the perspective that it can be used as a cosh to beat Doctor Who over the head with. Like, you know, oh, Jodie didn't work, the female Doctor thing didn't work.
Yeah, this is what. Yeah,
but then you can't let your decisions and your perspective be guided by arsehole saying arseholey things.
Yeah. I guess the general public aren't really going to give a shit when he's on, and if he's good, then they're not going to care.
That's true. I mean, but the problem is that the general public, you know, they weren't watching Sylve. But they'll reflect on Sylve because the general consensus was, oh, that's when Doctor Who went a bit shit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that'll be the Jodie thing, because they went for a man like straight afterwards, so obviously it didn't work. And I don't really remember watching any of that stuff anyway.
Yeah.
But it was always going to happen when Russell came back. Whoever had played it before, even if it wasn't the first female Doctor, was always going to get that sort of return if the viewing.
And I imagine it would have been the same with Capaldi. I imagine Capaldi would have got that. I mean, he did get a bit of that, like, well, they made him old and it didn't work.
Massively.
You know, I mean, and then they kind of, you know, whether that's good for the BBC or not, they kind of saved themselves by then having an even less successful Doctor.
I suppose, yeah. But the optics are always going to look bad. Yeah. And I think the optics were always going to look bad coming out of that when you had to cast a new Doctor. You know, you're kind of...
Yeah.
You're snookered either way in terms of the way that people perceive it.
Yeah.
I would have liked to have seen another female Doctor after Jodie before we went back to having another bloke. Yeah. That was how I'd always sort of pitched it.
And I always assumed that would be what would happen.
Yeah.
Because now it does kind of feel... When you see them all lined up there,
exactly.
It's like man, woman,
Yeah.
like, you know, and Joe Martin's
in there somewhere. But that's
the other thing. She's just going to be forgotten.
Yeah,
she is literally going to be forgotten. I hate to say it.
Do you think?
Yeah.
What if we get a Division series, a Division spin-off? There you go. You can have a Division.
Yeah.
You know, Joe Martin Doctor spin-off. I'd take that.
I mean, part of me would, but part of me is also like, I just want to forget that the Chibnall stuff happened.
That whole era happened. Yeah.
And I just want to be like, let's just move on now. And it's a shame because I thought she was fantastic. But I think he was
she's marred by being in that
She's mired by being in that tenure. She's also mired by the fact that she was introduced and then that showrunner was just like, oh, well, I'm not going to use her. She has become incredibly popular in seconds. But... knowing what we do know about Chibnall from what we've heard other people say about him, I kind of get the impression it's like, oh, what, she's more popular than my Doctor, Jodie Whittaker? Well, I'm not going to use her so much now.
Yeah.
I kind of get that. That's the kind of impression I get from what I've heard about him.
That's a bombshell that will leave you with all at home there, scratching your heads. Thank you for submitting your questions. Greatly appreciated. It's a bold new frontier for Doctor Who that's coming up. And I think it's easy to sort of relish it and also kind of damn what's come before.
Yeah.
Because in reflection, you know, it's a different level. It's different gravy, this Russell thing.
Yeah.
It's on a whole other level. And I think it's important, like Ricky said and like we were saying, that the show has ebbs and flows. And while it may not be your cup of tea, and it's an argument we always used to see, but I feel like people just don't say it anymore. It's like, if it's not your cup of tea, don't worry. Give it next week, there'll be something different. Or in a couple of years' time, there'll be a new Doctor.
Yeah.
And I know that that's not easy for people to listen to. Like, well, I've got another 3 years of an era that I don't like.
Yeah.
And there are lots of people who dislike the Jodie Whittaker era for very, very normal reasons, you know. But
yeah, and it's the same... It's not just Doctor Who. It's with any long-running franchise. I mean, I was looking...
Any long-running podcast. We've had shit episodes, I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, like, I was looking at the San Diego Comic-Con stuff and going back to Marvel and their announcements, and it was like, okay, so this film comes out and that is the end of Phase 4. And in the comments, it was just like, wow, Phase 4 of Marvel was kind of a bit shit. Shang-Chi was okay and this was all right. That was really good. That was crap. And it's like, yeah, okay, but all this stuff looks good, or all the stuff before was really great. And it's like, well, yeah, it's just one of those things. You're not going to get a home run every single time.
Yeah.
And that is the same with everything. You know, Bond, or, you know, any show.
Yeah. It's a time, though, for these franchises that have been going for decades, like Bond.
Yeah.
Because we'll spoil it again if you haven't watched it. He dies in No Time to Die.
Yeah.
It's like this is the time where all those franchises kind of rip up their rule books.
Yeah.
Because they've been going for 60 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's almost a monarchy, you know?
Yeah,
like, You have to do something radically different. And I'm sure we're going to find plenty to complain about when it comes back, and Shooty's the Doctor and Russell's running the show again.
And we'll be moaning.
Yeah, of course we will. But that's the fun of it.
Yeah.
You know, why else are you here?
Exactly, you know. And then in 10 years' time, we'll revisit those episodes and go, oh, actually, wasn't that bad.
I think in the heat of the moment as well, though, with stuff like Twitter, it feels like there's a tide that turns against the show in a way. And because people can post their instant thoughts on things, rather than maybe give yourself a day or two before you start tweeting your thoughts on like the episode that just went out. I know that's easier said than done, but I think it's all so instant now that the tide turns very quickly. Yeah,
and then you're like, oh, actually, maybe I was a bit too harsh on that. And I've done it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
everybody's guilty of it.
Yeah.
But it's like, have that self-awareness as we head into this new era of Doctor Who and things change, and you may not like the new logo. You may not be happy that, you know, I will not personally be chuffed if Murray comes back. Yeah. Because it will be like, well, everybody in the production office was there 15, 20 years ago, and now even the music is going to sound like, you know, like I want something different. Sagan gave me that with his score. Yeah. I loved his score.
That did upset me on Twitter, seeing so many people be like, oh, well,
he's coming. Well, Murray's coming back now, so
yeah. So the music's going to be good again. It's like, well, no, the music was good. It was just a different type of music.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? It's like saying, oh, well, Peter Howell's music is shit compared to Dudley Simpson's. But it's not. It's just different. Very different.
It's just very different.
Yeah, and perhaps that's just a classic Doctor Who thing. Perhaps maybe classic Doctor Who fans who are more used to hearing the music change episode by episode. I mean, I remember watching like seasons, getting to season 17 and thinking, yeah, Dudley, as wonderful as he is, maybe it is time for a bit of a refresh.
But I mean, that's just the way that the music was sort of worked. That, I don't know, maybe it's a union thing. You need to have some variation in the people doing the music, but that's an ebb and flow thing. You look at like, okay, so it's all radiophonic and library and a little bit of Dudley at the end of the 60s. It's all Dudley for the 70s with the exception of a couple of stories. And then when you get to the 80s, it's very influenced by the same sound, but each episode has a different composer that brings different ideas forward. You may get an Attack of the Cybermen, and then you may get an Earthshock. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, week to week it changes, and I guess you only see it when you look back at the show as a whole. But I think it's the generality of, it's the way people talk about it in big, broad strokes. Yeah. You know, that's the thing that sort of pisses me off. Yeah. Anyway, there we are. Yeah. Outro king.
Well, this is the point where I would say next week, next fortnight, we're coming back with this. But I don't know what we're doing next.
No, I'm not either. I'm not sure.
And we got it on the list.
Let's have a look. Let me get the...
God, I really need a wee.
You've been sat there.
Oh.
I can see your back teeth are floating.
If anyone is sitting there thinking, oh, he's looking very pensive, he's really thinking about these questions. It's not. I'm just trying not to wet myself.
I would quite like to... maybe we could do another 10. We could do The Idiot's Lantern.
Oh.
Or we could do 3 Doctors, 2 Doctors, or, seeing as we brought it up today, how about we do the 5 Doctors next? Yeah. Or does that feel like it's such a big thing we need to save it for like episode 50?
Oh, I don't know. Whoa.
Should we have a think about that?
We'll have a think about it.
Maybe it should. Maybe the Five Doctors next.
Yeah,
maybe something else.
Fun.
That might be a laugh.
Yeah.
But let us know what you'd like to watch in the comments down below.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, you tell us.
Yeah, and we'll take our decisions from your thoughts.
Nothing too long, because we have really got a very short runtime between this going out and us having to record.
True.
Yeah. So no Dalek Master Plan or
Please.
Trial of a Time Lord.
God, no.
Yeah. All right. See you. Yeah, bye.
Go and have a wee. Run, quick.